music.
Bat is not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Hello, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Forever, the podcast where we examine every mole and every hole of Batman Forever, one mole at a time. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And I am just too cute. I'm your other host, John Parker.
And speaking of just too cute, how come you don't look as good in the guest tux? We've got both sharing one tux, actually. We have Jessa Lowe and Murren Kennedy have returned for the Friday episode. Hello, people.
Hello. Yes, we're back. I actually am wearing a tuxedo t-shirt right now. I wore it thinking of this scene.
Oh, nice.
Because, as always, I think of everything as a visual medium.
Oh my god, that's perfect. That's amazing.
Maybe I'll
we
post a
need
pic.
pictures, damn it.
Yeah. It's actually I quite like it. It's I don't think it's a one that you can find too often. Although, like, finding any tuxedo t-shirt past 1999 is probably not very easy. But it has a nice, has a rose on it, has a red cummerbund. It's very nice. So I'll post a picture of that.
Ooh, the cummerbund makes all the difference there.
Yeah, it's a real tux, not just like a suit.
But anyway, today we're here to talk about minute 72 of Batman Forever. Minute 72 begins with a grilling from Gossip Gertie and ends a minute later with an awkward reunion. Some characters ain't seen each other in quite a while. Edward Nygma, center of attention, with the fantastic underrated character of Sugar on his arm.
Well, look how spiffy he is now, you know. What a charmer. It's almost as if he's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
He's gotten his first new hairstyle of the movie.
Yeah. Hang on, though. This is after he's had the short hair?
Oh, was he in this a previous scene with his hair?
Wait, I'm not sure if I'm right because we're recording out of sequence.
No, that's the thing. His hair is baffling in this movie. So yeah, you see him at the beginning, has a long ginger wig. Then he shows up with the Riddler with the bright orange flat top. Then there's a scene where they do the whole, like, him launching the box, and he's like the news conference where he's out on Claw Island. He's got this hair. Then he's back to the orange flat top. Now he's back to this. It's like, one of these things is a wig. And it's not that. Like, the Bruce Wayne hair is the Jim Carrey hair, I guess.
Yeah, but the character's hair, I think this is the character wearing a wig.
It could be. Like, that's why I kind of wish they had done more with this. Like, I had a whole thing with, I feel like throughout the movie, as the more Edward Nygma becomes addicted to the box, the more messed up he should be in his appearance. So it should be like, at the end of the movie when he has his head gets all weirdly warped and stuff. I keep thinking that should be happening to him very slightly throughout the entire film. So when he shows up and he looks like Bruce Wayne, it should be more apparent that he's made himself up to look more like a person because he's getting really grossly deformed because of the way he keeps It'd be a little bit like in, obviously not the movie everyone would want to evoke, but in Howard the Duck, when Jeffrey Jones, or Men in Black actually, when Vincent D'Onofrio is, he gets more and more haggard looking as the bug outfit, the aliens inside is kind of like
the human skin, it starts decaying. It almost reminded me of Batman '89, where Jack Nicholson puts on a human tone, like his white skin tone, normal human looking skin over his deformed white green makeup skin to look normal.
Maybe they would have been like, maybe it's a bit too similar then in that concept of like, but
it would have been an interesting take.
One thing, because jumping ahead in the minute though, but like the whole thing of him dolling himself up to look like Bruce Wayne is right down to even like when he's like, oh, how's my mole, is because Val Kilmer has a mole there, so they put a mole there on Jim Carrey too.
I didn't catch that.
And I have to wonder though, if Michael Keaton was playing Bruce Wayne in this movie, Would Jim Carrey show up in like a little kind of like curly wig? And would he be doing like the really intense eyebrows and stuff? Like what
Yes.
would he be doing the really pouty lips? And like how would Jim Carrey be doing Michael Keaton in this?
That would be pretty good. I mean, for this even, it could have been like putting on like lip fillers or something like that to look more like Val Kilmer.
But so like I would have loved to have seen that now. And if not even Jim Carrey, Robin Williams trying to do that, because he would have been the other option for the Riddler. Like, no way Robin Williams could have not just been doing a full-on Michael Keaton impression to Michael Keaton. It would have been like friggin' Chip Shrek doing the Chris Walken impression to Chris Walken in Batman Returns, the whole damn movie. But yeah, that's the thing. So then we get, the press shouting up questions to Edward Nygma, and we get someone shouting up, Mr. Nygma, what's it like to have your face on every magazine on Gotham? Which is done in a very like 1940s reporter style. I felt myself.
Yeah, well, it matches the aesthetic of the whole scene. Kind of this like old school, like old style noir kind of 40s look, and there's like everyone in the reporters match that just right.
It was great. I love it so much. I've made a note of that as well. The overacting is absurd and perfect.
It almost I had a note where it was almost as if Jim Carrey was playing every role in this scene. Or it's just like everyone is kind of moving to hit, like all the reporter characters are kind of like going at his level.
I wonder if he brought that out of them.
Yeah, it's an odd thing, like being in a movie with Jim Carrey, and this is where Jim Carrey shows up. There's gonna be a lot of Jim Carrey talk. Being in a movie and having to do a scene with Jim Carrey must always be such an interesting. You have to ask yourself that question: like, do I match him, or do I go the opposite, or like how do we make this work?
Yeah, be scary.
It would be scary, terrifying, even.
Yeah, you'd feel like you have to amp it up a little bit, because if you're playing it like a normal actor would, next to him, it's going to look like what are you doing?
Which is exactly what Val Kilmer is doing.
yeah.
And it does kind of seem odd.
It does.
Well, that's the thing. That's the question for you two. Like, I know Murren, you're an actor. Jessa, you also do some acting as well, don't you?
Yeah.
But so, as actors, what do you make of Jim Carrey? Like, do you admire his like veracity and his whole like, yes, I'm going to do this crazy overdone thing, or are you just like, oh, what the hell is this guy doing? Like, this is anybody could do that crazy cartoony crap.
I don't know. I'm amazed that he was able to make a career on that, and nobody was like, no, dude, you're unhireable.
Like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
This is no. I guess I'm of two minds. To set this to set the picture. I didn't grow up with Jim Carrey. I had a bit of a sheltered childhood. I didn't see a lot of the new stuff. My parents weren't showing me all like the hip movies. So I didn't grow up with Jim Carrey movies, and I only sort of saw him later on, just kind of like, oh, he's this guy. I don't know. I couldn't say when I first saw him in something. Yeah. I guess I don't love it, especially when he's. I enjoy like when he does like a Internal Sunshine. Like, I think he's good at. I like when he has to tone it down, or like a Truman Show is kind of just perfect for him, where he has this manic energy, but he has to sort of temper it and shove it down a little bit. Then that gets really interesting for me. But when he's just allowed to go 150%, and that's sort of the whole joke, is that he's huge, I don't love it. But on the other hand, I do kind of admire it, because no one else has ever done something like this. There's no one else who has done what Jim Carrey has done and made a whole career out of it. And I do have to admire that, even though it's not quite to my taste.
Yeah, the closest we could come up with of anyone even remotely similar was like Robin Williams, maybe?
Yeah, kind of, but not as much. You didn't have he definitely had, and I guess like to go deeper into it, I generally enjoy some ham with my cheese in acting. Like, I like it when actors go big. Yeah. But what Jim Carrey does is he's going big, and he's also commenting on it. He's sort of like, he's always has this like, look at me, I'm in a movie, isn't that crazy? Like, he's winking at the audience a lot of the time, and that's sort of not don't love that as much. Although I'm sure I could find examples that are an exception to my rule there as well.
Although talking about like winking at the audience, one comment that's made here by Gossip Gertie, who was the lady with the glasses, was actually Bob Kane's wife in real life. That's why she's here.
Oh, nice.
But she says like, oh, Edward, how does it feel to be Gotham's the newest, most eligible bachelor? And the thing is, she says that and it's like, well, Sugar's right there. He's got a woman on his arm.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, they should be asking, like, so who is this?
Yeah, because earlier in the movie, when Bruce Wayne showed up with Chase Meridian at the circus, she was like, who's your date, Bruce? But this is like, oh, this woman doesn't exist, apparently. This is like some random specter that's appeared next to Edward Nygma.
So it's the tragedy of Sugar, is that she's not recognized.
That's the thing of, like, Sugar and Spice are both just criminally underused characters in this. I love the idea of them, and then they're just kind of like,
yeah,
they're kind of shoved aside. But one thing, though, I'm certain throughout the movie, like, they give Sugar more to do because of who it is, because it's Drew Barrymore. They probably were thinking, like, this will be a nobody actress, and then they got Drew Barrymore, and they're like, oh, we better give her stuff to do, because she's, like, a well-known person. So I wouldn't be surprised if this scene was scripted and Sugar wasn't supposed to be there, and then they just added her in, and then just forgot, they didn't realize that line didn't track. Well, they're asking him about, like, being an eligible bachelor, and he's already got a woman up on stage with him. Like, that seems really weird. But then it kind of got me thinking of if this is supposed to be some sort of comment on the notoriety of both these people in the shot. Because at this point in 95, Jim Carrey is a huge, huge star. And Drew Barrymore is also hugely, like, infamous at this point. This is, like, after she's gone through her wild child years and where she was just, like, the really, really troubled life and whatnot. And she was always, on the cover of magazines and real tabloid fodder kind of a celebrity. So to have the two of them on stage together been fawned over by the press, I can't help but feel like some sort of intentional little, like, nudge by Joel Schumacher of like, well, this is what happens with these two all the time now.
Could be. I wanted to mention I love Gossip Gertie's glasses. It looks like she has, like, eyebrows on the glasses. Like, she has glasses. There's, like, these little plastic pieces that look like they're, like, built-in eyebrows.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like she's doing, like, a classy Groucho. Basically.
Yeah.
Hey, what's not classy about Groucho?
Oh, well, a classy feminine Groucho then.
Grouchette.
Well, the thing, though, talking about, like, actors going big. It's like freaking Elizabeth Sanders here as Gossip Gertie is just like, oh, Gotham must know. Oh, there's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, it's fun. I like that. I think I like. I like what. Yeah, I like it. I like that everyone's going for it in this scene. Even though I just said I don't like when Jim Carrey does it, but I think in this movie I'm not totally opposed to it.
Yeah, it works here, doesn't it? Like,
I think he works as not being the lead too, where it's not all. He's not in every scene. You get him every once in a while. I think that works better for me too.
You don't get as sick of him.
Yeah,
when he's just balls to the wall, relentless, non-stop Jim Carrey. Like, as a kid, I loved it, but now it's too much. It's like too much sugar.
Yeah.
And there's not enough sugar in this movie, which is the bitter irony of that statement.
I'll pretend I did that deliberately.
Edward Nygma, he does seem to be, the way he's reacting to things, like, he seems to be more of a lively guy. Like, because, they're saying, like, oh, I'll have your face in every magazine on Gotham. And he does this, like, kind of, you kind of laugh and stuff. I'm kind of surprised that, like, the press are so, like, it's Bruce Wayne! Because he just sort of sidles in with his usual, like...
Yeah, Bruce doesn't seem like he would be that interesting to talk to for a reporter. He's just like, yes, I'm here.
Yeah. He just seems like he'd be, like, the
Bruce Wayne is here.
It'd just be more like, he's good looking. That's all he's got going for him. Like, this guy is a nightmare.
He's good in that suit.
Yeah.
My problem, though, with it, is that how do you answer the question, how does it feel to be Gotham's newest, most eligible bachelor? What's the answer to that question? Like, it feels good?
I feel like I could take on the whole empire by myself.
Nice one, Dak. There's no answer to that question, is there? Like,
it feels like I could I could really get around. I don't know. What do you say?
Yeah, it's cool. That's why I always hate it when they ask, like, anyone, they win an Oscar or they win a sporting event, and they'll run up to them and be like, how does it feel? Well, obviously it feels good. Like, what a stupid question.
Yeah, it's a kind of rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Something amazing just happened to you, and it's like, yeah, of course. I'm glad.
Nah, it's crap. I didn't want to win this.
It's more just like, can we just verify that you feel good in this moment? Yes. Yes, I do. My heart just soars every time I hear the ritzy Batman theme. So I love them when they're like, oh, there's Bruce Wayne. And then it's instant as he's walking in, because like, hey, it's Batman, so we got to put on the fancy Batman theme for him again.
Oh yeah.
And it is weird then, because briefly next to him we also get Dick Grayson, and of course Sugar says like, oh, Eddie, he is too cute, talking about Bruce Wayne. But people know sort of random 90s cinema. You might be aware that the previous movie that both Chris O'Donnell and Drew Barrymore appeared in prior to Batman Forever was a movie called Mad Love, which they starred in together. So it's kind of weird. It's like, oh, she could almost be saying, oh, he's so cute. It's like, is she talking about Dick? Because they did a whole movie where she was in love with Chris O'Donnell there, just literally in the last year. It's a little tragedy that they don't have a reunion on screen. I did. Have either of you guys, or was anyone on the show? Have you anyone seen Mad Love?
No, never heard of it.
Oh.
I've heard of it, not seen it.
It's not good. It's it's one of those ones that's kind of preying on the notoriety of Drew Barrymore, because the whole pitch is that she's like, oh, Chris O'Donnell, he keeps spying on her from like across the pond, like literally across like a lake, because they're obviously privileged white people.
Not across the pond, but across a pond.
Yeah, I was thinking he's spying on her from the UK.
Oh, he's literally spying on her, though. He's got like a telescope looking across a lake to her house and stuff.
Sarah Palin, like, I can see Drew Barrymore from my house.
But it's one of these things where it's like, 'cause it's called Mad Love. And of course, we would be remiss if we didn't mention that, of course, the Harley Quinn origin comic that was written was also called Mad Love. Yeah, it's one of these things where we're like, oh, I really like this girl. She's such a free spirit. She's so kooky, and like she's not like the other girls and things like that. And then eventually she is put into like a mental institution by her parents. And Chris O'Donnell breaks her out because they're like, oh, the parents just don't understand her. And they go off on a little trip together. And it starts to become apparent that she's not just kooky. She is actively like manically depressed. And so it's kind of Chris O'Donnell realizing like, oh crap, I'm on.
So and this isn't the Harley Quinn origin story. No. This is just okay. So it could almost be.
But it's and then they end up it's they've got good chemistry together, but it's really preying on the idea of like, well, everyone knows Drew Barrymore was kind of like a crazy wild kid back in the day. So, or like back in the day at the time of filming the movie and stuff. So she's out like jet skiing naked and things like that, and people are like, oh, that crazy Drew Barrymore and whatnot. But yeah, Mad Love, not a great movie, but I would have liked to have seen them back together, albeit briefly, just to get them on screen for a second. But the only thing I can say about Mad Love that would be linking it to something good is that it's directed by a woman called Antonia Bird, who is tragically deceased now. But she also went on to make the incredibly underrated Cavalrymen cannibal movie Ravenous with Guy Pearce and Robert Carlyle.
Love that movie.
Which is
nice.
I really like that.
Yeah, really, really terrific movie. Amazing soundtrack by like Damon Albarn of all people.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird, like accordion led. It's such an odd movie. It is. It's kind of like a full-blown horror, but it's also like a wacky comedy. And
it's very genre-bending, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. It's actually, if people are fans of Hannibal, because there's all mentions of it's all obsessed with, cannibalism. And this one guy Robert Carlyle focusing on Guy Pearce, trying to turn him into a cannibal, basically convince him to eat human flesh. And there's all mentions of the Wendigo, and it's all set out in the kind of snowy, snowy plains. And it's like this is very Hannibal. Like, that's what
I need to rewatch this.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting. I want to see it now.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's really a terrific movie. I highly recommend anyone. Don't bother watching Mad Love, but by all means, go and watch Ravenous because it's a great movie. And
definitely watch Hannibal. Come on.
oh yeah. Always be watching Hannibal if you can afford to do so. But yeah, so just thought it was kind of like it's a slight little shame that like they didn't get to share screen time together, but there you go. But of course, then I do love the fact that probably one of my favorite moments from Jim Carrey is now when she's like, oh, because Sugar's like, oh, how come you don't look so good in that suit? And he's just like, oh, shut up. And it's the delivery of the shut up is just fantastic to me.
Yeah, it is fun that he's putting on this like artificial like, oh, I have to be the next Bruce Wayne. That's how it seems weird that this is what he's trying to do. I guess he's just trying to, because he's mad at Bruce for not endorsing his idea. That's what's going on?
Yeah.
So he's just like, oh, I'll outdo him at his own game and become a successful company man and dress in a suit and have perfect hair. It's this weird sort of petty game that he's playing. It's kind of funny that he's doing this.
I love it. And then
he plays it pretty well.
The whole thing with the mole just makes him extra petty. Like,
I did not get that. Like,
No.
I guess I just didn't track that Val Kilmer has a mole there.
no, I never, ever, ever got that until we did this.
But that's kind of nice. It's a little east. It's like it's a lower. It's another level for you to get. You got to rewatch it.
Yeah.
I kind of don't think that's in any scripts. Like, that wouldn't surprise me if that were like a Jim Carrey thing. Of like, he just said to Joel Schumacher, like, "Hey, have you got a biro? I'm just gonna put a little mole there, and it's just gonna be like an extra little thing." And then Joel Schumacher might be like, "Oh, that's a great idea, actually. Yeah, can we draw attention to the fact that you've done it and stuff?" And
Yeah, maybe.
I do actually, in talking about Harley Quinn there though, the way Sugar delivers her whole like, "Oh, how come you don't look so good in that suit?" I know she's going for like Gangster's Mall kind of that way of speaking, like a kind of Bugsy Malone kind of thing. But now that is also kind of the Harley Quinn way of speaking as well. So
It is.
it's kind of weirdly
Mr.
appropriate.
J.
Yeah. It could be like, oh, Mr. E. Oh, Mr. Nygma, how come you don't look so good in that suit? But the whole thing is terrific as well. Apparently he looks fine. But it's almost like the opposite, of course, of one of our favorite bits from '89 of like, oh, you look fine. I didn't ask.
Oh, yeah, it is like that. Holy crap.
The Jack Namier's shining moment's like minute 4 or something. We're like, that's it. That's the best he gets in the whole movie.
It is crazy harsh, though. Like, why don't you look as good? The shades. That's awful.
Yeah, you don't say that out loud.
That's the thing we're going to see next week, though. Sugar, I don't think she has any real allegiance to Edward Nygma. She's been asked to do a thing for him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I think
I guess that's the other weird thing that she's like he asked her to pose as his girlfriend, I guess, just for appearance sake. Like it's kind of a weird thing. And he tells her like, "Yo, you're working tonight."
that'd be the thing, actually. It's probably a good thing that Gossip Gertie didn't notice her, because then it'll be like, well, Edward, who's your date? And he'd be like, her name is Sugar, and she is part of a polyamorous relationship that the arch criminal of the city is having with some sort of demented kinkster called Spice. Like,
Very nice.
what do you just have to make up something on the spot? You'd be like, she's
Her name's Stacy, and she loves roller skating, and it's just kind of I like that he's putting on this appearance that doesn't really matter, but it's just because he feels like he needs to do it.
Yeah. It's all a show. It's all fake, isn't it? Like, Edward also he tries showing off to Bruce, saying he's bested him in like every way, forgetting the fact he's only been in the game for 10 minutes. Don't call it yet, man. But okay. But Bruce is the bigger man. Like he just congratulates him.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, Bruce, the Bruce Wayne character, he puts it on for appearances just to hide that he's Batman, and he doesn't really care how well Bruce Wayne is like thought of or anyway. Like he shows up because he has to.
Yeah.
I do like that the reporter says, "How does it feel to be yesterday's news, Bruce?" And I wanted to just pause for a second and they go like, "Yesterday's Bruce, perhaps." Oh!
Holy crap.
Some guy just, oh, what a scoop, just writing down that headline and running out of the party now. It's like, I gotta be the first one to get this on the presses.
Well, that's another harsh thing, though. You don't say that. Like, oh, you're yesterday's news. You know, what's that? How does that feel? You don't say that to somebody.
I think reporters back in the day just used to be this harsh, though. They just get in your face and be like, hey, how come you ain't as successful as you used to be no more? Be like the Dennis Pennis approach. Like in the
That's what I was
mid-90s.
thinking. Our American listeners probably don't know who he is, though, do they?
Nope. Never heard of this.
Right, okay. So in the 90s, there was this character on TV here called Dennis Pennis, right? And he looked like the love child of Woody Allen and Johnny Rotten. And
Okay.
he would interview people like celebrities, but he was always making fun of them. And he would see how long he could get away with it, basically.
Yeah.
But my favorite actually is when he just instantly, like, all these reporters are trying to get Steve Martin. They're like, Steve. And he eventually, he gets hold of him. He's like, Steve, how come you're not funny anymore? That's just his question.
So he's kind of like Jiminy Glick.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, yeah.
But he's like, yeah, he'd just do things like he'd manage to get Madonna cornered and then be like, well, if you were paid enough money, would you consider keeping your clothes on for a photo shoot and stuff? And she'd just be like, oh, f*** off, and like walk away from him and stuff. But that was all I needed. Just turn the camera and be like, hey, I got a reaction. That's all I wanted. But I guess now, like 20 years later, it's like, yeah, that's really lowest common denominator TV of just like, I'm going to insult a celebrity. And if they say anything to it, I win.
But I don't know. He did it. It was so stupid, but at the same time clever. That's the weird thing with it.
The thing is, he's like a working actor now. It's like that guy, Paul Kaye, who's in like Game of Thrones and stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
eventually
He's Paul Kaye. I know Paul Kaye.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's
That's
him.
hilarious. I had no idea that's like he used to do stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what he's famous for here, first and foremost.
It's kind of like Sacha Baron Cohen was just like, oh yeah, he was Ali G in Borat before he was Sacha Baron Cohen. It's like, yo, Dennis Pennis was a thing for like 10 years. And then Paul Kaye emerged afterwards as a performer.
No, he's kind of known for putting on a lot of makeup and things and being like an alien. Yeah, that's what he does. He's played like a bunch of aliens in Doctor Who and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, he's great.
Yeah. But yeah, so then of course we get Edward then comes, sidles over to gloat and ask like, oh yes, Bruce, old man, how does it feel to be outsold, outcoiffed, outclassed, and basically outdone in every way? Which is a bit big coming from a guy who is literally copying everything that this guy is doing. Like, you ain't got an original thought in your goddamn being, Edward. And you're coming over to try to, like, rub it in this guy's face. And the thing is, because Bruce says to him, like, oh, congratulations, Edward. Nice suit. And Edward's like, wit, good. Like, because he's acknowledging, like, yeah, it's the same suit. Like, you know that I'm wearing the same suit as you. And
But what the way Val Kilmer says it, I don't sense any wit though.
Yeah.
He just seems like he's being like, yeah, it's a nice suit. he doesn't put any spin on it, so
Yeah,
it
he's
seems
being
like
serious. Yeah.
Of course, it's actually in this, being Batman too, it could be like he doesn't even realize it's the same suit. He's like, I don't think about suits. Alfred put me in this thing, and I guess I wear it to events. But yeah, so like, oh, nice suit, and I was like, was that witty? I didn't realize that was witty. How was it witty? In what way? I just think he is a villainous character and he's supposed to be a petty asshole, but it's just like odd that someone would be coming over like dressed like deliberately to put a mole on to look more like you, and you're rubbing in that you're like, that's right, asshole, I'm better than you. I was like, you're just doing what I do. Like, who do you think you are?
I do like as well in the draft, the party's described slightly differently. I think it sounds better. It says, over the top golden glitz, a kind of Versailles meets punk meets couture. And in the middle, Edward, dressed as Louis XIV.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be a thing, though, because obviously they decided, like, we want him to be, like, a weird doppelganger to Bruce Wayne, but instead of having, like, he shows, like, he's dressed in the same tux, Bruce Wayne just shows up dressed up like a prince as well. It's just like, oh, we went the other way.
Yeah, that's Gotham formal wear, yes.
Yeah, totally. He's like, well, why not? You see that Oswald Cobblepot guy last week? He was just swaggering around in a top hat and a big fur coat the whole movie. He looked great.
If I had more money than I knew what to do with, I wouldn't just wear like a suit, like a tux. I could get anything.
Go
Why not
wild.
just as Louis the 14th?
There's also a part where Chase thinks that Bruce is jealous of Batman, like because she's not aware, and Bruce gets angry at her. He's like, "Spare me the diagnosis, okay? You're being ridiculous. I can't be jealous of Batman." And then to himself, "Can I?"
Oh
Maybe
man,
I can.
I love that. I mean, he's just like turning away of his head. And, can I? And Chase like, what was that?
Nothing.
Oh no, it's just talking to someone. No, nothing. That's another interesting thing that this movie does is sort of showing. Since they have Two-Face, they're kind of showing Batman as having split personality. Batman and Bruce Wayne as split personality. Split personalities.
Personality.
You see, as real split personalities, I think. But that's an interesting way to show that character.
Yeah. I like all that kind of stuff. When they lean into it, it's always more interesting than just bland. Bland Bruce.
Yeah, it makes him a little more interesting.
So I would have loved to have seen what Michael Keaton would have done with this version, like this Bruce Wayne in this situation. Like,
yeah, he would have made a meal out of it for sure.
Because we saw in Michael Keaton's Bruce, like he had much more emotion. Like we saw him confronting Max Schreck, like he was getting angry with him. He was actively a part of he was engaging in a squabble when he was all like, the throwing the friggin' papers across the desk at him and like swaggering over to him, and like he was a person. So
he's willing to get nuts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you put Michael Keaton in this situation with some guy who's pretending to be Michael Keaton coming over to him and going on about how much better he's doing it than him. What would he have done with that and stuff? But we'll never know. Tragically, we'll never know.
Alas.
But that's kind of it for this minute. Anyone got any other notes about things within the minute that they want to talk about?
I don't have any more notes, but I do have a little game we could play.
Ooh.
I just thought of this last night, and I decided to throw it out there. So we're talking Jim Carrey, and I thought I'd test your Jim Carrey knowledge.
Oh, man. Oh, nice.
So this is, obviously, I think you've talked about this. This is 1995, and 1994, of course, is Jim Carrey's big star-making year. He had Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, he had The Mask, and he had Dumb and Dumber. All in one year, which is insane.
Crazy.
So the other thing about Jim Carrey, as we kind of been talking around it, is that he almost seems like he writes his own dialogue. I have to imagine like the writer, anyone writing Jim Carrey a character has to sort of go into his voice in a very specific way. So I thought this quiz is a list of quotes pulled from IMDb for Ace Ventura, The Mask, or Dumb and Dumber. So see which you can tell them apart.
Oh, right.
Okay. Yeah.
Jessa can see them, so she
Yes,
can't
I
guess,
can't
but
play.
it's just for you two. So question one, quote one: "Holy Testicle Tuesday." It almost sounds like it could be Batman.
Testicle
Tuesday, Batman.
Holy Testicle Tuesday. So it's between Mask, Dumb and Dumber, and Ace Ventura.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that sounds to me more like an Ace Ventura line.
I was leaning towards Ace.
That is correct. It's Ace Ventura.
Hey.
All right, 1 for 1. All right, quote 2. "We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off."
See, I know that's Dumb and Dumber is the thing.
Okay, that is Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I was lost until you said pets, and then I remembered, wait a minute. Yes.
It's like my favorite joke in that whole thing is when the fact that he sellotapes the bird's head back on and sells it to a blind kid, which is just the cruelest joke now looking back on it. But when you're a kid in the 90s, that's hilarious.
See, I didn't say I've never seen any of these movies.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I'm really a Jim Carrey neophyte.
That's the thing. Like in Dumb and Dumber, because they don't know that they're being pursued by these gangsters, but yeah, they break into the flat and they bite the head off their budgie, and then just leave it. And then they come in and they just think the pet's head just fell off, and later on to raise some money, like Jim Carrey just like, oh yeah, I sold it to Jimmy something or other. And Jeff Daniels is like, the blind kid? And it's like, it cuts to this blind kid in a wheelchair with a dead bird, but its head sellotaped on, like rubbing the bird, going, oh, pretty bird.
Oh,
and stuff.
God.
And again,
See,
when you're like 10.
That would just make me sad because I don't like cruelty to animals.
Oh, but I think it's insanely cruel joke. But like back in the day, that was just like, that's what humor is in 1994.
All right, quote number 3. That was a close one, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, in every contest, there must be a loser. Loo-hoo, sir, her.
Oh. Because
Ace?
That's Ace. Yeah.
Yay!
I think the loser thing, I think, is I even know that. That's kind of an Ace Ventura thing. Quote 4. Kiss me, my dear, and I will reveal my croissant. I will spread your pâté. I will dip my ladle in your vichyssoise.
Ooh.
Oh, Batman again. No.
I would say I imagine that's the scene in The Mask where he is
The Mask?
posing as a French guy. It's been a while since I've seen it.
The Mask.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
There's a whole seduction sequence where he's got like a beret on and is doing outrageous French things and things like that. So,
All right, quote 5. That's gotta hurt.
That's gotta. Right.
I can imagine Jim Carrey saying this in a lot of things.
Yeah. I've narrowed it down to 2.
here.
And I'm going to go, because there's over-the-top violence, I'm going to guess The Mask, but it could be Ace as well.
That
Go with
is
The Mask.
also The Mask, correct?
Yeah.
So far, I think we've gotten all of them right. This is great. We're getting, this is, maybe you'll get a little tougher. We'll see. Quote number 6. Sorry, wrong pocket.
oh,
Wait.
could that?
Wait. It's The Mask.
Yeah,
That is The Mask.
Yeah.
Yes, 6 for 6.
He's trying to pull a gun out of his pocket, but he pulls something else out. I can't remember what it is. It's something
Something
stupid.
silly.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. All right, quote 7. Listen to me. I feel like a schoolboy again. A schoolboy who desperately wants to make sweet, sweet love to you.
Ugh.
Again, that's one because I've seen Dumb and Dumber many times, so I know
Okay,
that's
yeah.
Dumb and Dumber.
Oh,
You
is
know
that-
Dumb and Dumber. That is Dumb and Dumber. Yes.
This is quite good because I'm very clued up on Ace, and Niall's very clued up on Dumb and Dumber.
Okay, you got it. Yeah, you got this between the two of you.
So that
Right, quote number-
leads to like a joke later on too when he's rehearsing saying that to his like love interest, and then he goes like, "Mary, I desperately want to make love to a schoolboy." She's just like, "What?"
That's pretty funny. Quote 8. Why are you hitting yourself, huh? Why are you hitting yourself? That's not attractive for a zoo official.
Zoo official would lean towards Ace Ventura, I feel.
Yeah, zoo, Ace, animals. Yeah,
But could that be the trick?
that could be the trick.
You
No,
going with a
no, I'm gonna. Yeah, go with Ace.
trick question? Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Oh!
God damn it!
Now it's Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, or Mr. Popper's Penguins. Quote 9. Pretend I'm still here and tell me all about it. Pretend I'm still here and tell me all about it.
Dumb and Dumber because it sounds stupid.
No, another trick question. That was the incredible Burt Wonderstone. Quote 10. Now it's Burt Wonderstone, Mr. Popper's Penguins, Ace Ventura, The Mask, or Dumb and Dumber. Quote 10. Nah, in fact, I think you should go faster. That way, if we crash, at least I'll die. I just don't want to be kept alive artificially.
That strikes me as a Dumb and Dumber line, but I'm not entirely sure.
Another trick question. That was Yes
Murren.
Man.
Oh my god.
Evil.
Okay, so up until I started throwing curveballs, you were 100%. So good job on that.
Oh.
We win the prize, whatever it is.
You get a nice alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
That should have been part of the prize for people guessing the riddle. Actually, the entire show, John.
God damn it.
Oh yeah,
Speaking
we got
of the riddle.
What was the riddle? We still.
Oh yeah, we still
Try
have to
and guess it,
resolve
yeah.
the mystery of the riddle, or the riddle of the podcast, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, of course. To reiterate from people who have forgotten, the riddle is: I am taken from a mine and shut up in a wooden case, from which I am never released, and yet I'm used by almost everybody. What am I?
I wish I had Jim Carrey's TV box to pull some extra brain cells from people.
Yeah, these are always awful.
Glass?
No.
Glass, I don't think is mine.
The thing is, it is something. Can you think of something that is constantly within a piece of wood, but maybe not like a big piece of wood, but a very small piece of wood.
A grain? It's a very small piece of wood.
Dirt?
taken from a mine, a splinter.
And this is a thing that most people would use every day, like until it was replaced by something a lot more sort of modern.
Paper? No, that's still.
You're close. You're really close.
Really close. Inside a small piece of wood taken from a mine. Oh, is it a pencil?
Yes. Well, it's the lead of a pencil.
The lead in a pencil?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, you've saved your skin, because if you get it wrong, I have to toss a coin, and it's to decide if you live or die.
Yeah.
Oh, but now we don't even have to do that. We don't have to do the whole coin thing.
You got it right.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's the thing, though, because you said a pencil, not the pencil lead, so maybe one of you should get the It's like you're halfway there, so either Murren or Jessa could die right now. Who knows?
Well, I think
of two minds about it.
Murren should be the gent, and
I will put myself to the test here.
Heads or tails?
Tails.
Tails. This is for survival. Let me just remind you. Okay,
I'm doing my best here.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, it's tails. You've survived again.
Oh, we both
Double
live.
whammy.
Hooray. Oh, now only the COVID-19 will get us. Well, there's some piece of trivia that I was looking at. Tommy Lee Jones has appeared in Batman Forever and No Country for Old Men, both movies where the villains use coins to determine people's fates.
That's true, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That's got surprised. Well, actually, I'm not surprised the Coen brothers probably have never seen Batman Forever, but of like Tommy Lee Jones going like, that sounds like a goofy trope for that guy to do or something. But throw in a little wink and a nod to Batman Forever in the middle of No Country for Old Men. But yeah, thanks very much for coming on, guys. Of course, you were.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Now you've joined us for the hat trick. You have to now. Your reward is to follow us even deeper into the dark realms of Batman, which ironically things get brighter with Batman and Robin.
Oh, we'll always talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Even if you don't give us an Arnold Schwarzenegger minute, we will talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Oh, we're going to have to now. Come on.
That's the thing, because every time, like Arnie's been brought up in the past several seasons of this show, and every time people start talking about him, I'm like, nope, save it. They got a whole movie of the guy, so don't want to hear any Arnie talk until it's appropriate. But don't you worry, you'll get your chance to talk all you want about him.
Excellent.
Well, it's gonna be exciting times ahead.
Yeah.
So would you like to remind our listeners where you can both be found online and whatnot?
Sure thing. I'll try and do a little more specifics this time. The Cast and the Furious, which of course can be found on iTunes and I don't know, maybe other ones, but that one for sure. Or Apple Podcasts, I guess it is now. It's not iTunes, it's Apple Podcasts.
Oh, yeah. Get it right.
Yeah, so we got that. We're going to be doing Fast & Furious, the fourth movie in the franchise. Although we're going to start off doing the Vin Diesel directed short Los Bandoleros, which I've never seen before. So that'll be coming up next.
I've not even heard of that. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's part of the series. It's it's like a little mini movie between the sort of get you caught up.
Oh my god.
So yeah, we're gonna do that. That'll be coming up soon. And yeah, you can find that anywhere. And we also have the Cast and Furious Auto Club on Facebook if you want to join that and talk about cars and car movies. Oh, go ahead, Jessa.
And you can find me on Instagram at LOWEJESSA.
Hey, check it out, everybody. I have just followed you on the official Batminute account because I realized we weren't following you on there. I think we are on everything else.
I should also extra thanks to you too, Jessa, because you have Braves coming on here with like a desperate cold as well, which is never fun. But like, thank you for making for showing up and doing your best anyway.
Oh, thanks for having me.
No problem.
Oh, no, it's been great, and we will. I was going to say we'll see all of you listeners again, but that doesn't make any goddamn sense. We will be back though next week with more Batminute Forever. So in the meantime, come to Facebook at the Batminute Listeners Cave, and go buy a t-shirt on TeePublic to keep you nice and warm until we're back in your warm embrace. See you again on Monday for more Batman Forever.
Next time, Fantasy Island. A devious doppelganger dandy and his super sweet arm candy meet and greet the rich and randy. But as Nygma announces that the future is now, will his latest technological terror make his attendees go, wow? Find out next week. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.
Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da.